Welcome to episode 22 of the Morris InterVarsity Podcast. The goal of this podcast is to spread the good news of Jesus Christ. Let's get started.
There's like five pillars in Islam, like five fundamental things that every Muslim needs to do,
Okay,
and
what?
one of them is like dawah. So dawah is basically like teaching people about the religion,
Uh,
which is basically what I'm doing. And I mean, yeah, you don't need to like make people like you force people to believe your religion or anything.
yeah.
Just like spread the message, let them know,
Okay.
like make them curious about what is it about. So yeah, this is like a good opportunity, to like educate people
Yeah.
because there's so much misconception about Islam in the West. It hurts me.
Okay.
Like people just think if you're Muslim, you're like bad, like terrorists
Mm.
and stuff. So yeah, I mean, everyone should like look into it more. Like there's always a deeper meaning to stuff,
Yeah.
you know. 9/11 and whatever, like
Uh.
uh a lot of controversy and stuff.
Yeah.
Me personally, um, I just think, I mean, I have my own beliefs. Like, it was the U.S. who did it to themselves, but I mean, you're free to not agree with me, but yeah, whatever. Like, that's just like a side note, and yeah, like, we shouldn't like associate terrorism with Islam because that's not what Islam teaches. Islam doesn't teach terrorism. It's a religion of peace, and yeah, pretty much like love each other, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So, what is the? Because I looked in this like Quran. I have a little bit, and I've like looked at some verses. And it talks about like could you explain it talks about like Jesus like was like made to look crucified or something, or like have you
Mhm.
like read that, or
Yeah,
like
I
can you explain like
like what.
Jesus in the Quran, or like what
Okay.
that whole situation was about, like with the crucifixion, or like
Uh-huh. Okay. So Jesus, for like Muslim and in the Quran, so we know that he had like divine powers, like
okay,
heal the sick.
okay,
You know that, right?
yeah,
Yeah. So basically, like, we believe that uh, because Jesus like showed miracles, that people believe that he's God. But that was just like miraculous powers given to him by God
uh,
to help his people. But that's why like people started worshiping him. That's what we believe.
okay,
And so yeah, like about the crucifixion and stuff. So for our prophets, we'll never believe that they can be humiliated like that.
okay,
Like hanged on a cross without clothes on his body.
okay,
So that's very humiliating for us. So what we believe, what happened was before like the crucifixion happened, like someone else had like changed like switched places with him, and Jesus like God took Jesus to heaven by by miracle.
okay,
It was a miracle. Like you can't explain miracles, right?
yeah,
So yeah, he was taken, and we believe that Jesus is gonna come back one day and like to defeat Dajjal. So Dajjal is basically Antichrist.
okay,
So we believe that Antichrist is going to come and like ruin the whole world and like spread corruption throughout, and
okay,
then Jesus is going to come and like slay him, basically.
okay,
Do
yeah,
do Christians believe in Antichrist?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we believe in the Antichrist. So yeah.
Hmm.
So I'd say like we believe a lot of the same things, somewhat. Somewhat. I'd say we have like similar beliefs in like different areas.
Okay.
So um yeah, but yeah, right? Like if the Quran is like true in that sense, like that Jesus, like that stuff happened with Jesus, like he like switched places, whatever, right?
Hmm.
Like if he wasn't really God, then like yeah, I would say like according to like the Quran, and like I'm going to hell, like I'm not gonna make it, and like I would also say if like the Bible is true, then like you are going to hell, right?
Yeah, I
So
mean, yeah, I mean that's religion basically. Like every religion like has their own, I mean, if you do this, you're going to hell. Other religion will be like, if you don't do this, you're going to hell.
yeah, but
So,
I'd say like if one of these, right, if one of these are true,
mm-hmm.
right, the other can't be true.
Yeah, I mean,
So
yeah, that's why we have differences in religion.
yeah, but I'd say like I think that's why it matters. Like we should try to
Yeah.
like figure out okay which one is
Yep.
true. You know?
Before time runs out.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
because God God doesn't want people to right. God gives people time to
Hmm.
seek Him and find Him.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, like for Muslims, like the time on earth is it's a test for us.
uh
Like all this time, we're basically in an examination hall, like doing our test of life.
yeah.
Those who get the answers correct are gonna pass. The ones who pass are gonna go heaven. The ones who fail are gonna go hell. Like and the questions on exam are sometimes really hard.
Mm,
Sometimes it's not that hard. And when it's hard, it's basically like questions like um having decision on like having fornication with a woman or like doing drugs. I mean, these are hard stuff. Like it's hard to resist them, right?
uh
Like temptations. But like the ones who like pass these tests are the strong believers.
yeah.
So yeah, that's what you need to be, like have a strong faith.
Uh
Don't be weak. So yeah.
but yeah. So yeah. I mean, I would say like Christianity is truth. That's why I do
Mm-hmm.
the podcast. Like, right, that's why I'm doing this. If
Yep.
I'm talking to you or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Um, and then I'm like, right, I'm trying to understand Islam more and all that. But um, like, would you ever say like if it like became very clear to you that like Jesus Christ like was truly who he said he was like in the Bible, right? Like if that became like very clear to you, like would like so if Jesus Christ is God, like and you like could like know that,
Mm-hmm.
like would you become Christian if you like knew like that was true? Like
Mm.
would you be open to that or
So I think because Muslims have our own belief of Jesus.
uh
So it's not like I don't believe in
yeah,
Jesus.
yeah, yeah.
I love him as a prophet.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I don't believe that Jesus didn't exist, or I don't reject his what he
Yeah.
said, but like the fact that like because Islam has been so deeply rooted into me, I
Okay.
don't think I will be like ever changing my opinions.
Uh
I mean, probably because like we have our own faith of Jesus now, so uh, probably not like changing.
like if it like became like overwhelmingly like okay, like I think like the case for Christianity is like much stronger than Islam. Like if you like understood that, like you like still wouldn't like you would still like reject like Jesus in that way. Is it
I mean,
like
if you could like prove it to me, sure, but
so like
because my conviction in Islam is like
uh
clear, and
no, I yeah
so and
I
I understand what you're saying. Like
yeah,
if I realize that Christianity is the truth, would I convert?
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, if you could make me like
okay.
show me all the evidences and proofs.
I think I can like lead you there, but I think like I say like God has to finish the job. Like God.
Yeah, like faith comes from within.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say like God has to like work through you to like complete that. Like I can be God's like messenger, like spread His message, but I think like God has to,
Mm-hmm.
like work in you.
Okay. No,
So
I understand. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I like the Quran like gave me all the answers to my questions
okay,
without contradiction. And
okay,
if you can do the same, who knows?
okay, yeah. So because right, like if Christianity is not true, right, like the Bible talks about this, like if Jesus, didn't actually like resurrect, if he's not actually God, like throw the whole thing out,
Hmm.
right? Like it says that in the Bible, like you might as well just burn it, like just burn all the Bibles, burn all the churches down because it's not real if that didn't happen, like
Okay.
that's what it says. So, right,
Yeah.
like that, right, that's what Christianity stands on, like, right,
Mm-hmm.
like Jesus going to the cross, fully God, fully man, but taking on the sins of the world
Mm-hmm.
and then resurrecting, right, and then like right, kind of like because like Adam and Eve they right fell away from God,
Mm-hmm.
right? So Jesus was like, at least in Christianity, he was the guy to bring us back together, like kind of remake that connection that like we like
Okay.
lost with God or whatever. So,
Mm.
cause like throughout, I mean, you kind of know like people like did sacrifices to like get forgiveness from God, but
Mm-hmm.
then like Jesus came and like we don't like, right, we don't have to make these like sacrifices anymore. Like we just have to
Mm-hmm.
believe in Him. You know, it's like the Christian
Okay.
belief or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. Okay. Also, on the note that like, would I convert if like I found that like Christianity was truth? Um, if you like see like statistics, to be
uh,
honest, like, uh, a lot of people convert from Christianity to Islam,
okay,
but very very small minority of like Muslims like go from Islam to Christianity because that's how like strong our faith is
uh,
in Islam. Like once you know like what Islam is about,
yeah,
so yeah, I mean, my conviction isn't like as we like you can't just like you know you have to like give me concrete evidence and stuff to like
mm,
change me.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, you're free to do that if you can. I mean, you can take it as a challenge.
yeah,
But yeah, we can set it aside for now. But like and just like research more about the religions.
yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much.
But
Um.
no, because right, like if Christianity is not true, like I don't want to believe in it. Right,
Mm-hmm.
like if the Quran is true, like I want to believe in that. You
Yep.
know, so I'd say like,
Yeah.
right, am I open to Christianity being false? Yes. Do I think it is? No. Do I 110% believe that Christianity is true? Yeah, at the moment. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah. So I'd say like I can like 110% believe like Jesus Christ, like, is the way, the truth, and the life,
Mm-hmm.
but like also be open to it being wrong.
Okay.
So, cause like, right, like I haven't read like all of the Quran. Like
No, no,
I didn't grow up like in the Islamic faith.
mm-hmm.
So,
Well, that's
um,
perfectly fine. Yeah.
but yeah, so yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but like, so talking about like, the switching like places. So like Jesus like switched places with somebody.
Yeah.
So then like some random person like died on the cross, or or is that what you're saying, kind
Uh,
of? Or like, I mean, maybe you don't know everything about it, but like I don't think you have to for us to like talk about it.
yeah. I mean, I yeah, I just know the bare minimum. So like the details is something that I could look into.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to like, oh, you don't know this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's
That's
fine.
fine.
You don't have to
True.
know everything, because I think we can still talk about like faith,
Mm-hmm.
if we don't know
No,
everything.
that's
So
perfectly fine. But yeah, just yeah, the like the fundamental thing, believe in God, don't do wrong thing,
okay.
like do the things that God has told you to do,
Yeah.
and like yeah, just follow in the footsteps of your messengers, basically. So in Islam, like our role model is the Prophet Muhammad. Like
Okay.
we believe he's like the perfect human.
Okay.
So whatever he did, we have to try and follow as much as we can.
Uh,
So yeah, that's what I'm trying to do in my life now. Like follow whatever he did, like learn from his life and apply it to current life. I mean, it's really hard to like apply Islam to modern day life. I mean, we just have so much restrictions,
yeah.
and there's just so much things that are restricted that we're just like doing on a daily basis, like listening to music. I know that I shouldn't be listening to rap or like music that has
Yeah.
like provocative lyrics, but I still do, and that's just like a shortcoming of being a human. Like uh, Allah says that all sons of Adam are sinners. So like we're bound to sin.
Okay.
So yeah, we just have to like avoid sin as much as we can. Yeah.
So you talked about like you want to like the goal of a Muslim is to kind of like, or you said Muhammad was perfect or lived a perfect life, or
He was perfect.
he was perfect. So like in the Quran is like, you can like clearly see like Muhammad is like more perfect than Jesus. Is that like clear in the Quran, or?
Um so like to be honest, like all of the prophets are like uh all the prophets are like perfect,
Okay.
but like God has told us like follow the footsteps of Muhammad,
Uh,
because that's when like God's. I mean, I don't know how to explain it, to be honest. I mean, we're supposed to respect all prophets
mm,
anyway,
yeah,
but I mean, I wish I could like explain it to you a bit more
yeah.
in depth, but fortunately I can't because I haven't done my research before coming
Uh,
here. But yeah, pretty much just follow the footsteps of the prophets, and yeah, I mean, I wish I could explain it to you
okay.
more, but
Cause like, cause when I think about that, like, cause like I've like looked into like Muhammad a little bit, like history, like
mm-hmm.
like stuff he did, um, and like I'm not like trying to like say anything like bad about Muhammad, but like
Yeah.
just like from like history, like I think like then you could like fact check me, like anybody can fact check me after this. I'll fact check myself,
Mm-hmm.
like like on the video if I'm wrong. But like I think he is like you could actually look this up on your phone. Like I'm pretty sure he like is responsible for some deaths, right? Or like
Oh,
he
oh,
like
okay.
responsible for people's deaths, or I
Uh-huh.
believe he like had like brides that were maybe like on the younger side or like stuff like that, like culturally I'm sure that was fine,
Okay.
whatever.
All right.
So
Yeah. So you basically like want to get into the life of Prophet Muhammad.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So what do you want to what me speak about first? Like the age of marriage of his wives, or?
Or cause when you say like Muhammad was perfect, like
Mm.
so like when I look at like the Bible,
Uh-huh.
and like the Bible was written by like at least like the New Testament was written by people who were like they like were around Jesus, like they saw like
Oh,
the way
okay.
he lived life, and like I'd say like according to the Bible, like the way Jesus lived his life was
Mm-hmm.
perfect, and like I'd say like if I if I like look at this like okay, like what are the facts, or if I look at like, what Muhammad and like what Jesus did, like I feel like I have to acknowledge that like it seems like Jesus is like this more perfect figure to me, at least to me, right? Like I haven't grown up in Islam, so
Mm-hmm.
like I don't know everything about Muhammad. I haven't read like the Quran like that much or even really much at all. But
Mm.
like I say
Interesting.
like I say if like people are like looking at this, like it seems like Jesus is this like more perfect figure, and I feel like because of that, like I feel like I would rather follow like Jesus Christ and this like book that was um like written around his time by people that knew him, or
Mm-hmm.
like then like at least a couple of the books in the Bible, as opposed to like the Quran that came like after Jesus,
Okay.
so I'd say like when I look at that, I feel like at least in that sense, I feel like the case for Christianity is like stronger in a way, and like I don't know, at least when like I look at, because I think like when I think about this, I kind of try to look at it, okay, like who has like the stronger case for like
Mm-hmm.
something being true,
Okay.
and
No,
like I'm not trying to like get you riled up or anything, but I think
that's
like
okay.
this is just like
Yeah.
honest, like right, like if like Muhammad is this figure that like we should follow, like I want to understand like why that is, because like I have
Mm-hmm.
this like view that like Jesus is like this figure that like I should follow like way more than like Muhammad.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'll start with like believing like what you said, like the Bible was written by Jesus' followers, if I'm not wrong.
So like the books that are like about like Jesus's like life and like what he did and stuff were written by people like around him,
All
like
right,
during that
but what
time.
who wrote the Bible then?
God through people.
God through
God
people.
through people. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I mean, I can get into Muhammad's life, but just as a
Because
quick
we
summary.
have some of the same prophets.
Yeah, yeah,
So
we do.
yeah.
But yeah, so like the Quran came directly from God.
Okay.
Yeah, like it's not like prophets' companions wrote it. And the books that we have about like the Prophet Muhammad are the
Okay.
Hadith. The Hadith are basically like accounts of the prophets written by his followers.
Okay.
Is basically what you're trying to say for Jesus, like what his followers wrote.
Okay.
Yeah. So like if you read the Hadith of the Prophet, we can like understand his life, and that's how actually we know his life more,
Okay.
because in the Quran, it's the Quran is more like a guidebook to life, and not
Okay.
less about like the life of the Prophet. But if you read the Hadith, you can know more about the life of the Prophet. But yeah, um, so starting about like Prophet and like why
Like
you should follow him, and
yeah.
so you said that he was responsible for deaths, and I
Yeah.
mean, so those deaths were not just like killing for no reason.
Okay.
It like all the events that happened in Islam were very important,
Okay.
and those are probably for jihad. So basically, like for the sake of Islam,
Okay.
and it had to be done, but our Prophet always encouraged like not being violent,
Mm.
and like he encouraged peace among his people. And so yeah, I mean, like wars do happen in history, so
Yeah.
and it was like important wars and stuff. So yeah, he never killed anyone without any reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, like stuff happened in war. So
Okay.
and about the fact that like the age of his wives, and so his first wife, that
Okay.
Khadija radiallahu anhu, she was older than him
Okay.
when he got married, and after she died, he got married to other wives, and his final wife, so he married, I think, 4 wives in total, but like not at the same time.
Okay.
Like it was only after like one had died, he
Mm.
had to marry again.
Mm.
So at the age of his final wife, and I think yeah, she was like 9 years old at the time
Okay.
when she got married.
Okay.
So, well, if people in this time and age, if they hear that, oh, a girl is getting married at 9 years old,
Yeah.
wait, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Child marriage? But in that time, like these things like were different. Like the systems were different back then.
Mm.
So at that time, the legal age of marriage was lower
Uh.
because women would mature earlier. you
Okay.
know so as time progressed, the age of marriage increased, but in the system back then, it was not wrong to
Okay.
get married to a 9-year-old.
Okay.
And it's not just in like the Middle East, like all throughout the world it was
Okay.
like that.
Okay.
Like it was not like something to be like, if that happens now, like let's say a 9-year-old is getting married,
Yeah.
of course that's wrong,
Yeah.
because in this society.
Uh.
But in that society it was not wrong,
Mm.
because like the marriages were like, I mean, those marriages are important. It need to be done. So like the reason like the Prophet married Aisha, like his final wife,
Okay.
was because of like war, and
Okay.
like for and she was a tactician, like she was a necessary part of winning the war,
Mm.
and so he had to get married. And I think the contract for marriage was made at like when she was 6 years old, but he got married to her when she was 9 years old, when she was like sexually mature enough.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, if people want to bring that to the argument, it wasn't anything wrong to get married to a 9-year-old back
Okay.
then. So yeah, it's not a proper argument for like not believing that he's like the it's not a proper argument for like refuting him. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So yeah, that's pretty much. And why?
Sure. Yeah. I don't think it's enough.
Yeah,
I don't. Yeah. I don't think like those two things are enough to refute Muhammad.
yeah.
No. So.
So and why you should follow him? Like, there's just so much things that the Prophet has to, like done and be doing. Like, is just correct, you know.
Okay.
Like I'll give you a few examples.
Yeah.
Like basically, never lying to anyone
Uh.
at all in any circumstance. Like not even as a joke.
Yeah.
That's not lying. Like lying is one of the greatest sins in Islam.
Okay.
So he taught us to not to lie,
Uh.
and uh, like also like patience. Patience is a big thing that a lot of people have problems with. Like, and Prophet had like, he was the most patient person. Like let's say um like, and he was most forgiving as well. So
Mm.
let's say he was, so like when Muslims pray, I'll just tell you like a story about the Prophet.
Yeah.
So like, when Muslims pray, we can't like talk to anyone or do anything. We just have to like be in prayer.
Okay.
You saw me praying, right?
Yeah.
So, like
Yeah.
in that time I couldn't like do anything. The only thing I can do is like talk to God.
Yeah.
So there's this story, like he was in the desert, and around that time the Prophet had a lot of enemies because he was trying to bring the message of Islam,
Yeah.
and a lot of people did not accept that.
Uh.
So he had a lot of enemies, and like, so he was praying in the middle of the desert, and like his enemies came, and they were like throwing eggshells and tomatoes at him,
Uh,
to like agitate him, and rocks at him.
yeah.
So, but like the prophet kept on praying, and when he finished his prayer, like normally you would be like angry, right?
Yeah.
Like mad at like why are they doing this? He just like asked God to like forgive them, because it is not the people who are like doing the wrong things. It's the devil who's making them do like shaitan. That's what we call him. Like
Okay.
it's
Okay.
the devil who's making people do the wrong things. So yeah, like we learn forgiveness from our prophet. Like we like try to take his qualities, like his behavior
Mm.
and everything. And so he was like very prominent figure around his people at that time.
Yeah.
And but he was like extremely humble. So it's not like he lived in a palace or anything.
Yeah.
He had a mud house.
Okay.
That's where he lived. And yeah. So and his doors were always open to people,
Okay.
you know. So it's basically like there's just so many qualities of the prophet that I can keep like talking about, but
Mm.
in like in all like basically uh, for us, he was like the perfect human, and
Okay.
like his qualities are. I mean, you can't really refute his qualities, to be honest. I mean, I wish I could tell you more, but uh, it's it's getting kind of late, and I have to like roll as well. So, because I have a prayer to attend.
Oh, really? What? Wait. And how long? How long?
Yeah. So, it's like one, right? No, it's like one or two. It's two,
Well,
almost
I
two.
mean, well, you can check your phone or
I'm just not too good with analog
yeah.
devices.
Yeah. Me.
Oh, it's three.
At
Damn.
3. When you gotta do prayer?
No, it's at 3:30.
Oh,
So that
3:30. Okay. Yeah. We can. I
that's
can
fine.
cut it down in like 10 minutes.
No, that's
That's
fine.
cool.
Yeah, that's
But
cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
no. Yeah. I don't think like the things I brought up are like enough. But I think like the real questions,
Yeah. All right.
like,
I mean, before, sorry to interrupt you, but
you
like,
know, you're good.
yeah, just the more you learn about the prophet,
Uh.
the more you understand like why, yeah, we say he's a perfect human being.
Okay.
I mean, if you just don't know anything, I mean, obviously you're not gonna accept that, but like you should like do a bit more research into the life of the prophet so that
Okay.
you can understand more. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that Jesus was not a like uh, I mean, perfect human being either. It's just like uh prophet, like God made prophets such that they don't sin,
Okay.
you know? So um I need to do a bit of research on my part as well, like were the other prophets perfect as well or
Okay.
not? Because I actually haven't like you like from this question, I actually think I should research on that.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm gonna do my own research about that. But
Yeah.
yeah, to be honest, yeah, just fundamentally, like we have to follow the prophet as he's a role model, pretty much.
Mm.
Mm. It's like people have role models like like I want to be Elon Musk, I want to be Cristiano Ronaldo,
Yeah.
whatever. But when you just like look into it, like they're just normal human beings. They have their flaws too, right? It's better to have like a role model who doesn't have flaws, you know?
Mm.
So yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, no, just yeah, no, I was just curious on like what
Hmm.
the like responses to like my
Yeah.
questions or what I mean like yeah, I think it's just yeah. So would you say like isn't the Bible considered like a holy book in Islam or no?
No, we do consider the Bible, like all books, like Torah, the Bible,
Okay,
like
okay,
all of them to be holy books, and we absolutely cannot disrespect any books of like other faiths, you know.
okay.
So this I'll just like bring this, but recently has been a lot of like Quran burning throughout the world, like in
Yeah, I think I've
Christianity.
seen some videos on
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
but so you know when that happened, there's one like Muslim guy. He like because in Swedish these happen in Sweden,
Okay.
so the Swedish law like allows people to burn the Quran
Uh.
lawfully. So the guy he went and like got the law for like the permission to burn the Bible
Uh.
and the what book did the Jews use? The
The
Torah.
the Torah.
Yeah. So like burning the Bible and the Torah and
Mm.
like publicly.
Yeah.
So he got all the people there, and then like he was about to burn the book, but then he stopped and he was like, "I'm not gonna burn these books.
Yeah.
My religion forbids me from doing this."
Uh.
So yeah, that just shows like how much we respect other religions.
Okay.
I mean, people don't show it, or like people just don't respect because like so much bad things are happening in the world, which is
Yeah.
giving like people wrong views about each other's religions.
Uh,
But yeah, fundamentally, we have to respect other faiths a lot. Yeah.
yeah. Cause I don't know. I feel like because when I was looking through the Quran a little bit, it kind of seemed like the way it was written, it was kind of almost like at least like attacking the Bible in a way. At least from
Hmm.
like what I picked up from it, because it does talk about like Jews and Christians and like it does refer to Christians in some type of way, like some phrase. But no, so yeah, at least from like the biblical, like when you read the Bible, like it basically says like, yeah, like this is like the only like true book or
Hmm.
whatever. So like I'd say like the Bible like kind of separates itself from like any other like text or
Okay.
whatever. So I'd say like from like a Christian standpoint, like they can't like they can't like affirm each other
Oh yeah,
because
they
like
can't.
yeah, I'd say like they can't like affirm each other. So yeah, I don't know. It's just um yeah, I don't know. It is interesting when it's like when you say like yeah, the Bible is like this holy book, but like
Yeah. So I mean, of course, we don't like accept everything that's in the Bible.
okay,
Like, we believe the Bible has a lot of contradictions.
okay. You
So,
accept like some of it though,
I
like
mean,
parts of it or
it's like a lot of that said in the Bible is not wrong.
okay,
Like,
okay,
I would actually agree. Like, about homosexuality and stuff,
yeah, yeah,
and some other stuff. Like, I would definitely agree. But yeah, I mean, fundamentally, we don't accept the Bible.
okay,
So yeah, that's just how it is. I mean, I wish it wasn't like that. I wish we didn't have so much differences.
mm,
But yeah, that's how it is. So.
yeah. Here, I'll cut this off in like a couple minutes so we can
Mhm.
go. But yeah, so I'd say like the way to salvation, like from a Christian perspective, is like right, like you've heard like the gospel, right? Like
Yeah, yeah.
the good news, yeah. So it just means good news, but it's like I already said it, but yeah. So right, Jesus, right, like John 3:16, that famous Bible verse, right? For God so loved the world that He sent His one and only Son, that whoever believes in Him shall not perish but have eternal life. And right, what is it? What did His Son do? What did Jesus do? Right, go to the cross, die on the cross for the sins of humanity, resurrect, and right, He paid the price. So, um, right, that is the good news, right?
Okay.
That is like the saving message of
Mm-hmm.
Christianity. So yeah, if you didn't know it before, then you know it now.
Yeah.
That
No,
is
I did not know.
that is Christianity. Like
Mm-hmm.
that we aren't good enough and we separated ourselves
Mm-hmm.
from God, right? Like Adam and Eve like separated themselves from God and like through that we've had this sin and right, like people had to make sacrifices, but like right, the sacrifices weren't like really enough. Like right, it's like a lot of work to like just like right continually make sacrifices, right? Like when we keep messing up. So right, Jesus, like the ultimate plan was like, Jesus came down as God to die for the sins of the world and
Mm-hmm.
then resurrect. And because he was, right, like because God is like three parts,
Mm-hmm.
um, right, like God the Father couldn't reject like Jesus. Like, cause like, so Jesus took on the sins of the world, but he couldn't like reject him. So like he had to so Jesus like paid the price. It's like this like perfect like kind of paradox thing,
Mm-hmm.
like God took on the like this part of God took on the sins of the world and then like right, but like God can't reject himself. So like it like works out, if that kind of
Okay.
makes sense. So yeah, yeah, so that is like the saving message. Like Jesus Christ truly is who he said he was, like according to the Bible, came down for the sins of the world, paid the price for the sins of the world, and all you got to do is accept him. And it's not through like your good works that you're saved, but it's through like his good work on the cross.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I'd say that's where like Christianity separates itself from like every religion, because
Mm-hmm.
right, like I'd say a lot of religions are like, yeah, like do this, and like you can kind of like earn your way or whatever.
Okay.
But like Christianity is like, no, like we can never earn our way because right, like God is so holy. But like if we accept Jesus, right when like like when it's our time to go, right, like in the afterlife, like um God sees Jesus in us, like he sees that perfection, and like then we can like be with him, like reconnect or whatever. Like Jesus like reconnected humanity to God or whatever. So
Okay.
yeah. So hopefully that makes it probably is a little confusing to
No, I
you a
mean
little
it's good to
bit.
know,
Yeah.
because I did not know about these before.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good knowledge.
Yeah. So that is like that is Christianity right there.
Mm-hmm.
That is Christianity. So
Okay.
yeah, but
Cool.
um, yeah. So we can cut that off if that's good. Hopefully, you enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah, I did. Like I got to know so much, and hopefully, like whatever I said was helpful too. Like just get to know about Islam. I mean, it's my first podcast ever. Like the first time talking to a camera like this. It's
Yeah.
kind of nerve-wracking. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie. Like, just I think I slipped up a bit in the first bit. Just saying random stuff. But I mean, it's not like a professional podcast anyway, right? I mean, it's just two
Yeah. Just
college students that
yeah.
talking about it. And I'm not a scholar of Islam or by any means, or I don't know a lot. I'm still a student.
Mm,
I think for like all my life I'll be a student
yeah.
of Islam. Just getting to know more and more until I reach the truth. But yeah, for now I think, yeah, just getting people to like just clearing misconceptions is
Yeah.
what I need to do, is my goal.
Okay.
Just like, yeah, clearing the the bad things that they know about Islam, just like telling them about the good stuff. So, and one thing like uh, about Christianity, like before I looked into it, I thought that you guys accept like homosexuality and it's not a sin. That's why like LGBT churches exist. And I was a bit like confused. I was like, yo.
Yeah.
Then I was like, read some verses from the Bible, and I was like, okay, so that's just the human who are making this up, right? So,
Yeah. It is a sin. Like if you see LGBTQ plus churches, I would have to say those are not real churches, and
mm-hmm.
like real churches don't like endorse sin.
Okay,
So I would say those are not. I don't know. Like I'd say those are churches like who are not real churches, or they are engaging in sin heavily,
yeah,
and they should repent. So
mm-hmm. No,
yeah,
understandable. Like, yeah, same in Islam. So yeah. So are we cutting it off now, or?
yeah, we can be good. We
Mm-hmm.
can we can cut it off. So again, I'm just the host. That was the podcast episode with.
Mahathir. And
And thanks for watching. Hopefully you learned a lot. Hopefully you enjoyed.
yeah,
And um, Jesus loves you. So if you have a message for people, you can tell them. So
me.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah, just I'm not pushing any faith onto anyone. Like the things like faith and religion, it has to come from within. You cannot enforce it on other people. Just like how I came to know about Islam, and how I became a Muslim. Like people, when people forced it to me, I couldn't accept it.
okay,
It's just too forceful. But when I did it myself, like all belief and faith has to come from within you. So yeah, I mean, just do your research and just follow what your heart tells you to, you know. But yeah, I mean, I could say like, I mean, I would love to have people look more into Islam and like consider being a Muslim. But before you be a Muslim, I mean, you really should know like what Islam is about and why it's the truth and whatever. But yeah, just take your time, do your research, and hopefully I'll do a podcast with Joe again. And next time we can be debating. Who knows? But yeah, it's just a like simple conversation, and I think we need to have more of these conversations. You know, just like clear out our differences. So yeah, that's it for me.
all right. Well, thank you
Hmm.
again. Jesus loves you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep saying that, but yeah. All right. Well, thanks for watching. So
Yeah.
have a good day.